Hello, and welcome to another video. So I wanted to talk about 5 books that I have found that that take place in Alabama. I would like to make this a kind of a series where I talk about 5 books that take place in each state within the United States. Heads up, I am also wanting to do this for each country, and it will be done alphabetically. So I have it written down, and I keep wanting to say Azkaban, but I know it's not a country. I can't remember, but I do have a country written down that starts with an A, and Afghanistan, I think, is the one I was going to start with, but I need to double check that. So I just wanted to make this a series, five books that take place in that particular state, in that particular country, or by an author from that state or country. Obviously, I'll try and find ones that first take place in that area. If I can't find one for that area, I'll also look. When I do the country one, I specifically want to try and find authors from that country, maybe that are translated into English, so that I can read if I have not read them and didn't know they were translated from that country. So that's kind of what I would like to do. But let's talk about 5 books that I have found that take place mostly in Alabama. Side note, all these books I'm talking about I have not read. Most of the books that I have read take place in an alternate reality, not necessarily based in another state or country. So when I am looking for books that take place in another state or country, if I have read a book that takes place there, I will more than absolutely mention it and either tell you if I recommend the book. Otherwise, these are going to be books that I find that I am now have them marked as I want to check them out and look into these books. All of these books I definitely want to look into more. The first one I am going to mention is called Cold Waters. So Cold Waters is, as of right now, it's a duology because there's only 2 published works. I don't see anything on Goodreads indicating that there will be more. So I'm not sure if it's going to stay at a duology or if it will grow. But again, there are 2 published works, and the series is called Normal Alabama. Cold Waters is the first in the series. And this is by Debbie Herbert. So Cold Waters is an adult book, and it is mostly, the main genres are mystery and thriller. So it's going to be a suspenseful book, kind of a what's going on. You've got this mystery to figure out. So with this one, it's kind of a dual timeline. You're following Violet. She went swimming with her friend. What's her friend's name? I wrote it down. I thought Ainsley. So she went swimming with her friend Ainsley, but then all of a sudden Violet wakes up, she's disoriented, and she's found in the woods disoriented, but no one can find Ainsley. So people in the town that she is from in Alabama think that Violet murdered Ainsley. So, but since there's no body, see, they can't find the body, they can't officially charge Violet with the murder of Ainsley. So Violet is, for one reason or the other, is sent away to a psychiatric hospital. So definitely triggers for that if something like that bothers you. I know things like that bother my mom, so this is something she will never read. But it's 11 years ago following Violet as she is sent to the psychiatric hospital, and then 11 years later, so more like present day for her, she is back at her family estate, and she is starting to discover some secrets. She's also having some flashbacks. She thinks she's having some hallucinations. She is afraid while all of this is going on and these dark secrets are coming to the surface that she is going to have a breakdown and be sent back to the psychiatric hospital, which she does not want. So she is hoping beyond hope that things will resolve before she is sent to the psychiatric hospital. So in other words, she is fighting to in the description says keep sane and keep her sanity, so that again she feels like she's not making things up or any of that. Book number 2 is Gods in Alabama. The author is Joshilyn. Joshilyn Jackson. This is a standalone, so not part of a series. So this is a standalone novel, and it is an adult. This is a contemporary chick lit, obviously Southern, because all of these books would be considered Southern because they do take place in Alabama. But this one is mostly a contemporary chick lit. So in Gods in Alabama, you're following Arlene, and it's kind of a little, I don't really know the word to say, I'll just try and describe it the best I can. So someone from her town shows up in her door. She is currently not in Alabama, but someone shows up at her door, wants to basically know why there was this breakup from this high school athlete jock that was considered kind of like a god. So there's stuff kind of coming to the surface regarding that. And so she's basically decided with her boyfriend to take a road trip to Alabama to resolve things, to have a chance at redeeming herself. It's kind of a what will you do for love, how far will you go for love type of a story. Now, one thing to keep in mind is her family in Alabama are deeply Baptist and deeply racist. That is right on the cover, on the synopsis on the back of the book. They are deeply racist, and the reason that's something that you need to be aware of going in. But one of the reasons this is brought up, or the reason it is brought up, is because she is in an interracial relationship with a black man. And so there's concern as to how they will treat him, how they will receive him when they are deeply racist. So, and then how they will in turn treat her where she is in a relationship with a black man. So I think it'll be a hard-hitting read as far as that goes. But I really want to read this. So I look forward to getting my hands on this. This is one I have not read, but I really want to read this. Book number 3 is called Crazy in Alabama. Now there's not a lot that I can really say about this one because the description is like 3 or 4 lines and that is it. So it's a very short description. This is by Mark Childress or Childress? I think Childress. But this is a standalone and it's adult, it's contemporary, it's humor, and it's considered part coming of age. And you'll recognize why it's kind of a coming of age. So this book is a dual perspective. You're following Lucille and she is traveling and now the reason she is traveling from Alabama to Los Angeles. So the reason this is on the list is because they are from Alabama. The characters, I've got another one to mention. So they are from Alabama. I would imagine that part of it takes place, at least in the beginning, in Alabama. But they are from Alabama. And yeah. So, but dual perspective. So Lucille, she is going from Alabama to Los Angeles because she wants to be an actress. I believe she received the offer to be the main character in a particular show or movie. Not clear on that, but she's going to go to act. She is bringing her 12-year-old nephew, hence the coming of age, because there's a 12-year-old in this. His name, I love the name, is Peejo. Peejoe. Peejo. So I hope I'm saying that right. So his name is Peejo, and he's finding out that there are 2 different types of Southern justice. Now, where I'm not from the South, I don't know what that means, so I definitely want to check this out to kind of see what the Southern justice refers to. Now, he's also learning more about the people that he knows. So you're figuring some stuff out. Maybe I kind of get the vibe that maybe he's learning who's more true, who's more of a liar, I don't know. I could be way wrong on that. But that's kind of why I think he's learning about the people he knows. Maybe learning more of their backstory as to why they are the way they are. I don't know. The other thing that he is learning is more about the stories that he has heard throughout his life. So probably what they are based on, where they originated, where did they originate, are they racist stories, are they, and I don't know if racism is covered in this at all, but because there's stories involved, I'm guessing that might be the case. But again, I could be way wrong on that. So that would be Crazy in Alabama. Book number 4 is, let's see. Okay. Book number 4 is called Boys of Alabama. My reaction is because my reaction like this is because I'm a little excited. It's because I get excited about when books mention Gothic. So if it's a Gothic mansion, a Gothic manor, that someone is Gothic. So it's going to be possibly a little darker. That's what I'm excited about. So that already has me intrigued because I do love books with some kind of aspect like that. And this has that. So Boys of Alabama was written by Genevieve Hudson. This is also a standalone, but this is a young adult. So far I've mentioned all adult books, right? Yeah. And this is the only young adult book that I have on this list. So this is a young adult. This is a contemporary magical realism and LGBTQIA+, I believe is now the correct term. But it just mentions queer, gay, and LGBT is what this tags are for the series. What's the word I'm looking for? Not series. The genre. That's the word. So this one you're following a teenager by the name of Max. And it's following him as he is from Germany. So he's questioning or being introduced into American life, deep fried food, how they interact and talk. So he's trying to learn more about that to be more accepted. And during his time in Alabama, he starts to either hope or starts to fall in love while he is in Alabama, but he also starts to question his faith. So I know that books that deal with questioning of faith can be triggering for some people and bothersome. It doesn't bother me because it's real life. People question their faith. That's life. So he questions his faith in it as well. It does mention, I believe it said his grandparents. Was it his grandparents? I can't remember. Anyway. So he's learning about the American customs. He's from Germany. He meets another teenage boy by the name of Pan. Pan is introduced to him as a Gothic. It does mention in the synopsis on the back mentions that Pan is basically not only Gothic, but as black as you can get type of a thing with a dark life. Now, heads up on that, I'm not sure if it means that Pan is black or if it's just that he dresses all in black and is dark and thinks that his soul is black type of a thing. Or all of the above. Not sure what that is alluding to. You'd have to read the book, obviously, to find out. He is also introduced, Pan is introduced as a school witch. And as Max and Pan get to know each other and maybe fall in love, I don't know. These are the only two characters mentioned on the back of the book. But Pan starts to explain to Max about his magical abilities. Hence why he is described as the school witch. And finally, book number 5 is called Again, Alabama. This was written by Susan Sands. This is an adult and it is part of a series. There are 5? Yes. So far there's 5 books out. No indication if there's going to be more coming out, but so far there are 5 that are published. So, yeah. This is, did I say this is adult? This is adult. This is considered a romance, chick lit, contemporary. On this one you're following, and I had to absolutely write this name down because I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it. The first name is Cami. The last name, LaRue, I'm guessing. That's how I'm thinking it in my head. It's Laroux. X like X-ray. So, LaRue? LaRue? I think LaRue. Could be way off. So this one, she is going home to Alabama because she is going to help her mother as her mother recovers from a recent surgery that she has had. In the meantime, she's found out that the family home or family estate is starting to tumble, is starting to fall down and be in disrepair. Now, the person that is helping to try and rebuild and restore the home happens to be her ex-boyfriend. And there's some questions as if they can trust each other again. So I don't really want to say that it's an enemies to lovers, but it's definitely maybe like a lovers to enemies to lovers. That's what I'm guessing. But so they're questioning things. Is she going to want to stay in Alabama? Does he want her to stay? Are they happy to see each other? Can they trust each other? Can they resolve why they fell apart or not? So that's where that stands. So those are the 5 books that I would like to read that are based in Alabama, and I hope you would like to read them as well. They sound like really good books. When I was looking at these on Goodreads, they had, most of them, I can't remember what they all had, but most of them had a very high 3-star, like a 3.87, 3.97 to 4-star, 4.03. So they all have pretty good ratings on Goodreads. Again, that's just all people's opinions, so take that with what you will. But they all sound intriguing to me, so I look forward to delving into those a little bit more in the future, but I do want to get to what I have because I will have to make room for those books if I'm going to investigate those. So let me know in the description box if you've read any of these, if you've liked them, if you did not like them. Do you know of any other books that take place in Alabama that you recommend or that you have heard about that you maybe have not read but want to read? Making you think, aren't I? So please let me know in the description box. Yeah, so there's definitely at least 5. I did find, I will mention this too as kind of a side note, I don't remember the, you know what, let me look it up. I will also mention as a side note, I did find a middle grade series that I think 2 of the books take place in Alabama. It is, because 2 of them came up. The first one, I know the girls in the book, I think there's 3 of them. Let me see, I've got it pulled up here. It's by Rita Williams-Garcia, and the first book in the series is called One Crazy Summer, middle grade, and it says it's a historical fiction. The characters are black, and it's takes place in 1968. They travel from Brooklyn to Oakland, California to be with a relative. So that's why I did not officially include this on the list. The series is called Gaither Sisters. And right now there's just 3 published works. I'm guessing it is done because the last one was published in 2015. The 3rd book does say it. The title is Gone Crazy in Alabama. So there's definitely one to check out as well. I still am intrigued to read that one as well, with it being a middle grade and kind of sounds like they travel a little bit, I guess. So this kind of consider that maybe an honorable mention because the whole series does not take place in Alabama. So there is that. And I hope you guys are doing well. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.